At the climax of Prometheus, we are introduced to a new variant of the alien with the Deacon, an alien created by a chain of events set in motion by the mysterious substance from the urns of the headroom or ampule chamber. It would only be on screen for moments, a quick tease, leaving many viewers to wonder if it would return in Alien Covenant. Instead, the neomorph and the xenomorph, or perhaps more appropriately called the protomorph, took center stage, causing those who would want to know more about the Deacon to take their search to the Aliens Expanded Universe. I believe that there is good reason why the Deacon was absent from Alien Covenant and why its original inclusion into the Dark Horse Fire and Stone comic series was drastically reduced. The Deacon was created by a complex, likely not to be duplicated process, which is why I think that the one seen on LV-223 in Prometheus should be the first and only one ever encountered on film. So what exactly is a Deacon alien, and how does it fit into the family tree of the xenomorph that we are familiar with from the original 4 Alien films? Well, I've already uploaded an in-depth look at the Deacon in my Aliens Explained series. You may want to go watch it first. I'll add a link to it at the end of this video and also down in the description. Otherwise, for a brief explanation, the Deacon was originally meant in the early Prometheus scripts written by John Spates to be the Ultramorph, an alien born of a traditional facehugger that had infected an engineer. The higher-ups at Fox, however, wanted a film that focused more on the engineers and less on the aliens. So Damon Lindelof was brought in and things were changed around, causing the Ultramorph to be swapped out with what would become the Deacon, a creature with an intricate creation story. The genesis of this new offshoot would begin with that black catalyst substance from the urns of the ampule room, a liquid that would be fed to Holloway in a small droplet via drink by David. An already obscure setup for this thing's birth, the infected would then have to have sex within hours before the mutations would appear, which should also knock down the chance to have sex to spread the virus when you start to look like a monster. Add to this that Shaw was unable to conceive a child, whereas the average female host encountered would likely be fertile, which again could be another chance for a different alien outcome. The trilobite was also taken from the womb early, which may have affected its maturation process, causing yet another different possible outcome. Holloway was infected, and one theory amongst myself and many other fans is that his sperm was mutated, giving us the trilobite. This hasn't been confirmed, but either way, after the two had intercourse, the trilobite was now growing in the womb of Elizabeth Shaw, not gestating in the chest cavity like later aliens would do. Here, already containing DNA from Holloway, the creature likely also took DNA from Shaw before she cut it free from her body, as is referenced on the Blu-ray extras, where he mentions that they added a feminine touch to the creature to show that it came from a woman initially. So now we have the trilobite carrying DNA from 2 different humans, along with the highly adaptive AI, unknown organic material, and whatever else is contained in the fluid. The trilobite, once released by Shaw, is then able to attach itself to the enraged engineer, leading to the Deacon. The likelihood of this scenario setting up the birth of another Deacon like the one we saw in Prometheus is very improbable. Unless, that is, the engineers have been using humans along with the substance in order to create Deacon aliens, but even then, I doubt that they used the same setup, and we have zero evidence to support such a theory. We already know from the xenomorphs, which likely exist in the same family tree as the Deacon, that any subtle change in environment or host leads to different variations on the aliens. Every encounter so far has shown small differences in each hive or group. This trait alone would make it so that if there were other Deacons made on purpose, that they may not be the same as the one encountered on LV-223. The aliens created from the black catalyst substance that we've encountered so far in Prometheus and Alien Covenant are not able to reproduce on their own, as far as we've seen. The Deacon begins with the fluid in the urns, as do the Neos in the form of the motes released from the egg sacs on the ground. More can be made until the goo runs out. This is why David, perhaps taking the knowledge from the engineers, learned to add a life cycle to the alien with the ovomorphs and facehuggers. The Alan Dean Foster novel for Covenant even goes so far as to say that David found an ovomorph with facehugger created by the engineers, yet if you take the book or film as your personal canon, it appears that both of them were trying to make it so the creatures produced from the virus could self-replicate. But what about the mural on LV-223 in the ampule room? Doesn't it have a depiction of a Deacon? It very well could be. On the Prometheus Blu-ray, Arthur Max does say that the mural contains a Deacon alien. However, he also says that the piece was made as an homage to H.R. Giger, meaning it could be more Easter egg and less of a real explanation of the engineers and their interactions with the alien creature. Near the bottom of the mural are Giger's unused concepts for the facehuggers from Alien. Is this canon to the engineers, or just an homage? To add even more confusion, if you look closely at the head of the alien in the mural, it looks like it may even have a crown much like an alien queen and not the pointy head of the Deacon. Stephen Messing, the artist responsible for the mural, also stated that the art piece was an homage to Giger. But I also found it curious that he called the creature an alien form and not the Deacon, which tells me that this thing may not be a Deacon, especially since Stephen was the concept artist behind the final design of the Deacon in the first place. Setting aside the gray areas of the mural, let's take a look at the famous space jockey on LV-426. Ridley Scott said in the Prometheus extras that the jockey is in fact an engineer in a suit and not David. Furthermore, whatever exited from the original space jockey / engineer came out like a chestburster would, creating a relatively small hole on the ribcage. The Deacon that came out of the engineer on LV-223 was possibly full grown, as it was huge, taking up almost the entire torso of its host, tearing out a hole way bigger than what we see here, which is why I think that we can rule out a Deacon here as well. All of the eggs encountered so far on the derelict on LV-426 have contained standard facehuggers, and if, like Ridley said, one of them got loose and attacked the jockey, then that should give us an ultramorph, or in the very least, a bigger Xeno, and not a Deacon. Looking to the Aliens Expanded Universe and the Fire and Stone comic series, we do see Deacon-type aliens in the animals in the ecosystem, and in fact, before changes were made by 20th Century Fox, the xenomorphs that appeared in the comic were actually Deacon aliens. I believe that their decision to remove the Deacons, at least in their humanoid non-animalistic form, only goes to support my theory of its uniqueness. I'm betting that they also see the Deacon as a one-off, an alien with a rare setup, not likely to happen again. This doesn't explain the Deacon-looking animals and why Fox felt that they were okay, but either way, the Deacon, as we saw it in Prometheus, was not going to end up in the comic. To be honest, I like the Deacon even more, with it being such a distinctive creation. It's a crazy example of the unlimited amount of alien offshoots and variations that can be created when you combine the black catalyst substance with anything organic. A trait carried over in the Xenos, where alien variation is all over the place, especially in the expanded universe. So what are your thoughts about the Deacon? Is it an ultra rare alien, a common alien subgroup, or just a wannabe ultramorph? Thanks for watching, guys. Your shares, likes, comments, and subscriptions go a long way towards helping the channel grow. Take care, and I hope to see you next time.